How do you psychologically break an opponent?
Mm, I don't know. I think that there's that I think is more done in the fight versus before the fight for the most part. Because I feel like most of the guys that I compete against now are pretty savvy to all of just the bullshitty like pre-fight stuff. Like we all kind of understand that that's just a stupid part of the game, or at least stupid for me. Some people enjoy it, but I would say though that something that I do a little bit more than I think probably my peers is when I do watch the guys that I'm going to fight their interviews, whether they're past interviews or current interviews, I'll listen really closely to the language that they use because I do think that that can reveal a lot of things about the ways that they think and then the things that they're scared of. And I like to know those things going into a fight. Like for example, if like everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people just if they're not even asked about things, will just start saying like, "Oh yeah, like I'm in great shape. I had like a great camp." Like sometimes they say typical stuff, but then every once in a while they'll say something that's really specific that and like how well that really specific thing went. And that to me just reveals that that's something that they think about. And if it's something that they think about, it's either because they don't have that thing or they're trying to mask that they have that thing, or it's true. But I will like give that a lot of thought if that makes any sense. Like if a guy is like if I was just talking to you and I was like, "Yeah, man, and my wrestling's really good now," you'd be like, "Why the fuck did he just say that?" And those types of things, it's like, "Oh, okay, so that must be on your mind a lot." So you're either self-conscious that it's not good enough and you need to say that out loud so that I hear it, the opponent of yours hears it and then thinks that that's the case, when typically I think that that's not the case and they're just trying to mask a insecurity.
That's absolutely brilliant. I think that's a brilliant technique. And I think you really hit the nail on the head because people sometimes they use words to cover up a behavior that they're trying to hide. So
Mhm.
words are sometimes used as a mask or to fill in a hole that they have. And we overcompensate with our words to kind of like balance things out. I mean, just this last week I went camping and I stumbled upon this kind of like this commune out in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, "Oh, this looks cool." And they had a like a kiosk at the front. And I was like, "What is this place?" And the guy at the front was like, "It's not a religion. It's not a religion." He said it's not a religion like three times. And I was like, "Sounds like a religion." And he kind of got like really like, like he kind of overcompensated with his words saying this wasn't a religion. And I was like, and I just, I was making fun of him, but it really like, he was like, "No, no, no, it's not a religion."
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's I think that that's totally a thing. It's like it's a weird thing that we do when we get to talking too much.
yeah. Yeah. So, are you very careful with your words then?
Yeah, I lie a lot. Uh and it's only just so that not a lot, but I'll like mix in lies with like the truth. Just because why not?
Wow. So
Yeah.
it's more to throw off your opponent than because you're not really, are you getting anything out of the lie?
No. I only lie and I'll specifically lie to people that I know that they're close with. Because I know that everyone's, like I know who's involved in which circle for the most part, and I'll just tell that person something that isn't true because I know that they're going to go report it back to the opponent. And I'll do this a lot too, not with my opponents always, but with like some of the guys that I coach. Like I'll do that for them too. So I'll do that a decent amount. But again, like I'll mix it in with the truth just so that people know, or people can't pick up on it too much. But Yeah, and I also, like, thought about and I used to keep that to myself now, but now I like saying it out loud so that if people do hear that, then they don't really know what to think of me, and I think that the more ambiguous and the more mysterious I can make myself, the better off I am, and I think that I've done a pretty good job of that for the most part of just being, like, this kinda off character that people can't get a really they can't get, like, a big read on because he doesn't partake in a lot of the other typical things that people partake in the sport, and so I try to continue to remain that character.
Totally. That reminds me of ancient warfare techniques, with Sun Tzu or Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan used to do this thing where he would appear very weak, where he was extremely strong, and he
Mm,
would lure his opponent out of their stronghold. And then right when they thought they were doing great, all of a sudden they're completely surrounded, and he would just obliterate all of them. And,
yep,
you gotta appear weak where you're strong. You gotta appear strong where you're weak. So it's brilliant.
yep, similar ideas. I can only take them so far because 'cause we're not actually doing war. I always think it would be really cool to be, like, a general in, actual war, like a Napoleon or something, because that's, like, almost straight strategy, right? Like, that's, like the combat piece is important, like, the physical one-on-one combat piece is important, but the strategy piece is really cool, and I think that, like, beautiful strategies are really awesome.
Wow, do you ever think that you were born in the wrong era?